Good evening, friends and family, and thank you for coming to another night with Repair, Grow Black Communities in support of our podcast, Behind Black Business, hosted by Gregory Sane. As you know, our organization came together to address the issues that are happening here in Chicago in the Black communities. We're trying to save our Black communities, and there's so many issues that need to be addressed. But we have chosen to try and uplift our Black businesses. And the ways that we're doing that is we're raising dollars to help our businesses with their daily operations, with employee training, producing websites, marketing, and even improving their decorum so you can have a better experience when you enter our businesses. We're also working on some public policies that address employment in our community, that address our businesses getting the contracts that they should be getting, and even the issue of gentrification. Because as we know, gentrification is supposed to improve a community, not run people out. So that is a concern that we have and another issue that we are addressing. Through our podcast, we're giving you an opportunity to work with our businesses. We want you to support our Black-owned businesses. So every week on Wednesdays from 8 to 9, we are presenting a Black business in our community. So you can get to know them better, so you will know where they are, and they will get an opportunity to talk to you about what they do and how they are so important in our community. We have two major businesses that we are focusing on, or actually major industries that we're focusing on, and that is our financial institutions and our bookstores. As you know, back in the 60s and 70s, we had over 8 Black banks in the Chicago area. And why did they evolve? Because Black people were not able to get loans for homes, for cars, and to get the finances that they needed to take care of their families. And here in Chicago, we have the Southside Community Federal Credit Union, which is the only Black bank that we have left, African American bank, in the Chicago area. And they have been around since 2003, giving loans to Black people, helping our people in the community. And the difference between them and many of the other banks is when you get open an account there, you're a shareholder. You're not just a depositor who's putting money into a bank that won't loan money to you, but their concern is more so about their investors. So we're asking you to support the Southside Community Federal Credit Union. They're located at 5401 South Wentworth, here on the south side of Chicago. The other industry that we are supporting is our Black bookstores. We once had over 23 Black bookstores in the Chicago area, and now we have 3. And that is Frontline, Underground, and Semicolon, which is on the north side of Chicago. And then we also include Afriware, because Afriware, who is located in Maywood, but has been so committed to the issues and causes around what's happening in the Black communities in Chicago. Every month, we feature a Black a Black bookstore. So this month, we have Semicolon as our featured bookstore. Semicolon has given us a list of must-reads. If you go to our website at rrgbc.org, you can access those books and you can purchase those books from Semicolon. Our organization, Repair, Restore, and Grow Black Communities, we sponsor a book giveaway every month. So at the end of our last podcast of the month, which will be next week, we will be giving away Assata Shakur, an autobiography by Assata Shakur. All you have to do to be eligible to win that book is to apply and subscribe on our website. So we're asking you to support our Black bookstores. Tonight on Behind Black Business, we are featuring an attorney, Attorney Arlene Coleman. There's been a saying that politics precedes the law. But as you know, we put laws on the table, but they're only worth as much as the people have the ability to enforce that law. In the 1863, Lincoln, he signed the Emancipation Proclamation to free Black people, but it didn't become effective until 1865. But then after that, we had to go through sharecropping. We had to go through Jim Crow. We went through the Civil Rights Movement. Now we're still talking about the inequities in our community with Black Lives Matter. But it has always been our attorneys that have been at the forefront of our fight. Tonight we have Arlene Coleman, and she is a member of the Cook County Bar Association. She is actually the 74th president of the Black Bar Association, which is the oldest Black lawyers association. And so we are honored to have her here tonight. She has a diverse experience in different areas of the law. She has a lot of experience dealing with employment discrimination in the workforce. So we are honored to have her here. And so I'm going to now bring to you our Behind the Black Business podcast hosted by Gregory Sane, as he features our special guest tonight, Attorney Arlene Coleman. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise. Thank you very much for that humble and welcoming introduction. You do such a great job. I want to always first thank the Creator for blessing each and every one of us for another day on this planet that we call Earth. And we always want to thank our ancestors. We definitely want to always invoke the spirit of our ancestors and understand that we stand on the tall, tall shoulders of our ancestors. So regardless of what we know or what we think we know, and whatever information that we have, and I mean, God have blessed all of us with our own unique skill set, gift, talent, and etc. But trust me, we are not the inventors of the energy inside of us. We have to make sure that we never ever think that we're doing this on our own. There's always, and have been in my life, mentors and people who are the trendsetters, people who have taught us. And that's why I'm so proud to be part of an organization and a movement here. This is not a moment. RRGBC is the real deal, and we're very serious about repairing, very serious about restoring and growing Black business. And that's why you heard passionately, and you'll hear it every week passionately from Denise, from Sister Doris. Both of these particular sisters are absolutely disciples. They are servants of Almighty God. And I'm telling you, I heard Denise, but we can bring our guests on because I definitely want to exchange some things with her as it relates to the politics of law and just what she has been so blessed to accomplish. And you know, Arlene, that's a great introduction for you. And anybody that's listening, look, and Denise said politics precedes law.
Yes.
And then when you look at the quote that I heard the Honorable Brother Minister Farrakhan said, he said, politics without economics is symbol without substance. And that's what they gave us for Juneteenth, another day of substance. It was symbolic, but a check did not come with it. No resources came with it for the state of Texas or Galveston. But, you know, Sister Attorney Arlene Coleman, we are so proud of you because law school is not a joke. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of studying. And when you look at law and whatever angle you want to do it, from a defense attorney to other areas of business law, etc., it's always about what people don't know, how people need to be protected. Now think about that. Law. And even when we look in the books of what we call law, there's still inequities. There's still disparities. There's still inequality in law. I mean, everything about the police is law. It's about laws and how it's double standard. Some people get a break. Some judges decide to give folks a lighter sentence or a much longer, harsh sentence. Some people get robbed, because they didn't know the law, etc. But I don't know what history they teach, but you can educate us in terms of the law that you practice. I did hear you backstage, and folks, I got to say this, that this lady is so busy and so successful that I don't think she's taking any new cases right now. But is that true?
That is true right now. It is.
Wow. I mean, you would think that somebody lost, like, I need all the cases I can get because, but I mean, you know what? You can tell us why that is. It sounds like a good thing when you're so busy that right now you just have a lot that you're dealing with right now. It's just you and the kind of law that you practice. But law to me, and give us a little history of that and why you decided to go into law, because I've always wanted to be an attorney. My brother have a degree in law. He finished law school, went to Cornell, and then he ended up finishing law school at the University of San Francisco. So, but how long have you been practicing law, and what type of law do you practice, and what made you want to get into law? Because I know you're a fighter, you're a champion for our people, you're educating our people, you're empowering our communities. So give us your story, Arlene, Attorney Arlene Coleman.
Thank you, Gregory, and please call me Arlene. First, and you
No, I got to give you the attorney because look, we don't have many people with good titles that really represent us, and I'm saying it because we don't have everybody that's our law. Our attorney, somebody that defends us. We don't have many defenders, so you deserve it.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Let me first say, and that I do give honor to my ancestors, and I stand on the shoulders of many ancestors who have gone before. I mean, some parts of my practice, because I have practiced in the community, I've been involved in activist work and worked as an activist attorney. But I came up under attorneys like Lou Myers, Geraldine Simmons, who taught me so much about my area of practice in probate and estate planning. I have been practicing 33 years now. 33.
Wow, I'm just 33.
And I've had my own business for 25 years. So I've been the reason that I can graciously and humbly say that I cannot accept, I'm not taking a lot of business right now, is because, courts have been, we're not in session live yet in the court system. We've been on having court via Zoom for over a year, and things as have been continued and passed and stuff until our court system can figure out a way to manage what we have to do that we used to do in person. So that has had an impact on me as far as getting, moving cases forward, getting things done. And I don't want to, the other thing is you shouldn't bite off more than you can chew. So that's.
I know, and I like that, Arlene, because, I've always heard that word, do you have the capacity? Meaning, you have a party and you invite 40 people, but the room only holds 20. Exactly. And you don't have the capacity to adequately do what you want to do. So it makes sense. And don't bite off more than you can handle. But I am so proud of you, boy. And you just brought up a name that I hold so dear to my heart, and so many of us. Man, it's you know what? I've known a lot of attorneys, but I've never met anyone so beautiful, so amazing, so powerful, like Attorney Lou Myers. Yeah. Attorney Lou Myers have touched the hearts and the minds of so many Black folks in America. Yes. And he have defended so many brothers and sisters that no one would have taken the case. Mm-hmm. And it would have really cost them thousands of dollars. And Lou represented them in the most epic, powerful, effective way. That man was absolutely a servant of God, and he got his law degree like you to empower our community and represent us. So thank you. You had a great tutor, mentor, etc. Yeah. Long live the spirit of Brother Lou Myers and others that you mentioned too, and many others like Lou. So thank you for mentioning Brother Lou. I did a show with Lou right before his transition. He had decided to start doing some more cable shows, yes, and etc. So we did a couple of shows together. Actually, about four different shows, a couple of different cable networks. So great. So in your practice, what is the main focus?
Well, right now, my main focus, the largest part of my practice involves probate litigation. One reason I became a lawyer is that I have the gift of gab. I was a good student, but I would always get that check mark for talking. I like to talk. And, but I've learned, my father would say, you have one mouth and two ears. That means you should listen more than you talk. And so I've evolved with my listening skills. But I also have had a background of being a servant, serving our community through my church work, doing leadership and public service. So for me, being an attorney, in order to serve the Black community, I had to have my own business. Many attorneys, Black attorneys, are picked up, especially the best and the brightest, in the large law firms. I found I worked at a firm that my people could not afford to hire to pay the rate. Although I was able to bring in some clients that the partners in the firm allowed me to work those cases. I was their first and only Black attorney, and the only associate that was bringing in business to the firm, just so that I could work with some Black businesses. And I didn't know, but that allowed me to have a springboard to start my own business. So when I left the law firm I was with, those clients came with me because they had been working with me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's really great. That's
a blessing. That was a blessing to me. There are thousands of Black attorneys in Illinois and in the Chicago land area, Chicago and surrounding suburbs. And many of them, now I don't know who's calling me. Hold on, let me turn this down.
Somebody that need a probate attorney.
So at the law firm, that firm, I was an associate assigned to the practicing labor and employment law. One of our primary clients was the Chicago Teachers Union.
Oh,
and,
wow.
I started there when I was in law school, and the then president, Jacqueline Vaughn, was familiar with my work, had gotten good feedback, and she advised them that it was time for them to hire a Black attorney, and they hired me. So that's how I got started with this. I used to be a social worker too, so
really.
Yeah, before I became an attorney, I was a social worker.
That's a great foundation to have, and a great sensitivity, Attorney Coleman, because just the work involved with social services is quite interesting. When you think about probate court,
yes,
what is it about that particular law that get over on the poor, that poor people? Because when I think about the law, and you hear a lot of folks, there's a reason right now that my family and I would be looking for an attorney for just some person as it relates to my father and music and etc. But when you think about the need for an attorney, and you think about the way this capitalistic country, so-called democracy, was established, and the rights of people, and people needing someone to represent them, someone that know more about the quote law. The law, we know in a lot of cases is double standard, but in the probate arena, how do we as Black folks, poor people, period, how do we fare in that category of law?
That's a really good question, Gregory. And to that, I do want to speak to that. At one time, probate is an area of law that deals with three things. One, a deceased person, but it also involves guardianship of minors in some cases and disabled adults. Mm-hmm. So it's an area of law that is historical, traditional, and what I've seen over the course of my time as an attorney is that more people now are in court for probate matters. That's because Black people have assets. At one time, we didn't have assets to pass on to, based on our history in this country, to pass on to our descendants and to future generations. Some people did, some people got the 40 acres and the mule. And
who were they? Because
for real.
Wow.
In Mississippi and Alabama, I mean, some did. Not every
court. They went through the court to get it.
Well, the law changed. That was the law, and then some people who were plantation owners and politicians and whatnot thought that wasn't a good idea to empower Black people who had been enslaved, to empower them now to own property. So before the sharecropping, there was some landowners, and some of them caught hell trying to keep their little land. But some of them maintained it, and unfortunately, the way that property is held in the South, it's a phrase they say, it's air property. Unless the estate planning is done, the ownership of the property splinters to all of these descendants. and that can get kind of convoluted. But coming back to where we are now, and I do want to address a point you made. You said so many things that just triggered me, and please interject me if I'm going on too long.
No, go ahead, because we want to learn from you.
As far as the law goes, you have to understand that the law was written by men for a long time, and now men and women, but written by the legislators and
white men.
What? Okay, yeah, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, white men.
White men, and so of course, then the law would be drafted in a way that empowers one race of people, because we know racism was born in this country,
right?
In order to justify slavery, and it was designed to oppress another group. And you know, you can look at the Constitution and see what's there and what it says, but the law is interpreted by the courts. And so as the country has evolved and things have changed, and change is slow, it is slow, and it's not always just. The laws have been interpreted to balance, if you will, balance the scales a little more in favor of minorities and other non-white groups in this country who live in this country. A major piece of litigation was the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the subsequent acts after that, you know, challenged things like separate but equal, the Voting Rights Acts. These acts and amendments to the law were designed to correct some of the ills of the initial law. And that is still happening. I mean, thank God for Thurgood Marshall and what he was able to do. You know,
yeah, what a man, what a man.
Well, we are brilliant people, and we are survivors. For what happened to us in the slavery situation, it's the wonder that anybody is sane and able to live.
The most resilient people we are on the planet.
We are. So out of that brilliance, people were able to look at the law and say, look, this is what it says, and this is, you know, those fundamental rights of life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness, that once they recognized, or had to recognize by law, that Black people were people too. We are citizens of the United States. Then those laws.
You don't say.
Yeah.
Right. You don't say. I mean, you know, just hearing that, that's really so sick. Not only are we not people, but we are the original people. We are the original builders. We are all of that, and yet we don't know it, and then others treat us as though we're not. What a unbelievable, diabolical, just wicked type of mind and nature of a people that will beat you down so much so, and then create the law and create documents, etc., to make sure it keep you in your place.
That's what was done to us. So it is through the law that change has occurred, as you mentioned earlier, challenging the law, pushing our legislators. Now we have more Black legislators. We have a Black vice president of the United States. We've had a Black president. But
we had a who?
A Black. Oh, you need to quit. you are naughty.
I just had to say.
You couldn't resist. Yes, we did. And it wasn't Bill Clinton. Wasn't him. So you know, the thing that I want to convey to our listening audience is that hiring a lawyer is a very personal thing. It's not. It's personal, and to me, it can be cultural too, because our experience in this country is totally different than the majority of white people, that group, and so finding people that can relate and understand the culture of the Black community is very important to me, and to a lot of other attorneys that practice in this area. What the Cook County Bar Association, which, as Denise said, is the oldest association of Black lawyers in the country, was formed in the early 1900s, primarily because we had Black lawyers. The first Black lawyer admitted in Illinois was in the late 1800s.
Mhm.
They had no organization to be a part of. And as you know, there are sticks in a bundle are not easily broken. They were not allowed access and entry to the white legal organizations or associations. So these brothers and sister formed their own group, which is amazing. And it's an amazing institution and group that has survived and continues to survive as new lawyers come into the fold. So I put in the chat, and I guess they'll show it. You can find Black, people say, I can't find Black lawyers. We're all over. But the way you find a lawyer, to me, is the way that you find a doctor. If you, you used to find a doctor, you ask for referrals. You can get referrals. There was a question for me to talk about. Why is it important for us to, well, that's kind of what I'm talking about, for us to hire Black attorneys. Black attorneys are in our community. They usually live in our communities. They do business in our communities. So they're spending their money, they're paying their taxes in the Black community. They're putting back. Some people live in the suburbs, but we know there's suburbs where, you got to really look for a Black person to see. It's just not where we predominantly live. I live on the South Side, and, most and all of my neighbors are Black. A lot of lawyers live in my community, and we want to support and build on that, build those businesses, because if we don't, then the attorneys will not be available to us. We are all trained the same way. We all have to go to law school and graduate, and we have to take the bar exam, which is a measure of competency to practice law. When I was a young lawyer, I was following behind Lou and Stan and
Old Stan.
Old Stan Will.
Stan the man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But all of them not committed like you and those that you just named. And that's why that question, I'm so glad that question came up. Why is it so important, Attorney Coleman, for us to seek Black attorneys versus white attorneys? And when you think about the NBA, the NFL, and even entertainers, people can worship some of these clowns all they want, but they go get white boys, white attorneys, the same one that's multi-millionaires, to represent them, to be the agent, And so while many of them talk Black, most of the people they do business with are outside of our community. Most of them. And it's almost, unfortunately, we should do business, but we got that miseducation Negro mentality. As Carter G. Woodson said, the white man, he didn't say this. He mentioned just us going to the back door automatically. But that other thing, Attorney Coleman, is the white lawyer selling ice on one side of the street and the Black lawyer selling ice on the other side. We go by the white man's ice because we think his ice is cold.
It's colder, and it's not. It's not. I mean, there, are rumors that certain ethnic groups are better lawyers than others. And I would say, again, that these are rumors.
Smart boy, look, smart boy, even though Attorney Coleman, smarter, got probably higher scores on the bar, more committed, all of that, spiritual. But when you walk in the court with a white boy, the judge is like, pretty smart there, huh? Brought in a white man. That might give you a break because you keeping the image or just the mere fact that a white man, so psychologically, is, I mean, there's some of that play come into play, Attorney Coleman, when you walk into court with a white man versus a strong, smart, committed black attorney. Does it make a difference? Should it make a difference?
Absolutely, it should not make a difference. And it's been my experience, Gregory, that it doesn't as much as it used to. When I have practiced law, I am a litigator, even in probate, because those cases now have become very contested with family members fighting over things and control. So I handle those types of cases. If the judge knows you, first of all, we have more black judges on the bench than we've ever had, and we're trying to get more there. That there's some legislation, again, was created to allow for the sub-circuit, where people from a particular district could be elected to be judges, as opposed to the whole of Cook County voting for them. So though, again, that's a place where the law legislators, Brookins and I think the state rep, Tony Young, I mean, they put it together. They thought about it and planned it and brought up that legislation that opened the door to many black people becoming judges in Cook County, in our judicial system.
Yeah, because I know we have the brother, what is his name? Starts with a B. This cat. We got. I mean, when you look at Evans and Timothy Evans and
the chief judge,
right, and the brother is another brother. All of these folks.
We have a black judge on the. We've had a judge on one of our Supreme Court justices is an African American. The first one was Justice Freeman. And now Justice P. Scott Neville is the second.
Okay.
In the history of the Supreme Court in the state of Illinois. So there's progress, and maybe not enough, not fast enough, but
yeah, it's moving. It's moving so turtle pace. And I guess me, I'm with you in regards of just seeing more. But it's just a shame that when you look at the fact that the dollars do not circulate when we do business with people outside of our communities. But, I'm so glad that Sister Doris had sent a question, which is a powerful one in terms of lawyers like Judge Pincham.
Yeah.
Man, what a beautiful, beautiful human being. You talk about, that's our,
I met him.
Judge Pincham is our Thurgood Marshall.
Yes, he is.
That's our Thurgood Marshall.
I met him on the train when I was in law school. He was riding the train. Yes. And I saw this guy with this big hat on. He was very friendly. And we spoke, and I don't know. I ended up telling him that I knew who he was, actually, that I was a law student and was going to my Saturday class. And he just, he talked to me, and over time we got to know one another better, because you recognize people, and just being in his company and presence and watching. He was active in our bar association as well. I want to get to Doris's question, though. Can we put it up again?
Yeah, do we have black attorneys who are connected to the community that they were living in? I'm sure.
Yes. Yeah. Many. During
judges like Pincham and others who they lived in the community and they fought like hell for the community. And they were not uncomfortable in living around black people. And when they went to work, they knew their stuff, but they came back and lived among their community, which all professions should do it, because it's not a community when you don't look like us, you don't respect us, you definitely don't love us, but yet we pay you money to come and represent us. How foolish is that?
Well, that's what is that? Assimilation. Um,
Yeah, that's yes, it's mentally ill too. But let me tell you something. Oh my, look. I gotta say this real quick. I'm here in the beautiful home of my friends. I'm in Washington D.C.,
okay.
Maryland area,
Okay.
an area right D.C. the same little area. But my good friend of mine's college buddy Eric Sampson and his beautiful wife Tony. And I said, "Oh, I got a show tonight." So I'm in her office
Okay.
doing this show live. I mean, the internet is an amazing thing to have, right?
Yes.
Because I was like, "Oh, I'm not home. I can't do the show." But I said that because I'm here talking all this military stuff. I ain't trying to get them put out the neighbor. No, I'm just kidding.
But no, you speak truth to power, and I appreciate that. Having these are,
Unapologetically too.
yes, these are important conversations that we need to have. So I'm aware during the protests and demonstrations. Let's go back to when I was president of the bar. That was during Laquan McDonald,
Oh
his,
wow,
his murder.
really?
Yeah, and
What was that like?
oh, it was. I was very angry about what happened, and as the leader of that organization, I was in a position to come up with a plan on what needed to be done in response to it. So the executive committee of our bar, we developed a 10-point strategic plan of what we thought should happen as a result of the cover-up and murder of Laquan McDonald. And I'm happy to say everything on our list happened. It didn't
Okay.
all happen in my bar year. The last part was that we felt the mayor needed to go, and he went eventually. But I think that we have gotten away from really planning our strategy, and instead are just very reactionary. And I'd like
Yeah,
to
too
see,
much of that.
well, and
Way
that's
too much
one
of
thing
that.
that the lawyers do. But again, it's not. It can be at a cost. But we have. I know that Black lawyers have. We have walked. We have marched. We observe. We're observers. We get people out of jail. And not just Black lawyers. There are other organizations. Oh gosh, I can't think of the People's Law Office. There are white people, let me just say, that know and see the inequities that have occurred
Oh
in
yeah, I know.
our
I
system.
know.
And they fight against it, and they fought against it.
Yeah, there's some down at Kent College,
Yes,
that they get together and they want to win a case. And there are some that's doing case studies and they practice because they
absolutely,
realize that if you want to go and get some cases that are totally in, I mean, there's so many. We're not going to even talk about the prison pipeline and the prison industrial complex.
okay,
And many of those people that's inside there was never ever given a true lawyer to fight their case. I'm talking about those that are innocent and those who, if they did do something, they got harsher sentencing. Now you mentioned the Laquan McDonald, Attorney Coleman, and you said you guys got pretty much a lot of the things that were on that list, but the guy didn't get that much time, which is crazy.
that was
Um,
strategic. It was,
Jason Van Dyke,
yeah,
he didn't get, and he'll be out, before you know it, after being a terrorist, a murderer,
yes,
that guy can end up walking the streets soon.
yes. So that's one of those inequities. And the way the case was assigned in a way that gave that outcome. And that's where the politics comes before the law.
Right, and now so that's where the politics come,
Right.
and but the racism, the blatant disrespect
But
And even though we got black lawyers who could read and could see now, but there's a, you know it better than us, teach us of the strategies, or if you don't do such and such, or if it goes like this, then they play their game, or they already got plan B ready for the white man versus what happens to us.
let me just say to that point, um, other groups, they have a 10 and 20-year vision or plan.
Wow.
Whereas most times we are just living day to day, paycheck to paycheck, month to month. So that's our reality. So that's number one. And then the other thing that I wanted to say to you, even though Van Dyke didn't get the sentence that he should have gotten, in my opinion, that prosecution in charge of him set the motion in play for what happened with George Foreman and the
George Floyd.
George Floyd. I'm sorry, Foreman.
That's all right.
Yes,
yeah.
The way in which that case was handled. They're looking at how all of these different things happen. For the longest in Illinois, a police officer hadn't even been charged for killing a black man. So that was huge.
Right. And what they looking at is, in my humble opinion, I think they looking at the bottom line. I think inequities is definitely one thing. I don't think, and I'm just being honest, and whoever watching this, I don't care. You take it or you leave it alone. But I don't really, I believe there are Caucasians and others who know when something is not right, and they themselves will get out there with us, some of them on the front line.
Yes.
But I believe that a lot of these decisions are being made because of black people waking up and they see another group who is not going to go along to get along.
Right.
And they might react totally different, as we did witness, a little different. And I'm not saying those who went and destroyed people's businesses and etc. But people are mad, and they so, and I don't blame people to be impatient, but I would agree with you that some of that is because of what you said, but then some of it is based on the economic side financially, that they will say, let's get these Negroes something, because they getting mad.
Black people are some of the largest consumers in this country, and everybody knows it. We have so much power with our dollar that we don't utilize. So I want to say one of the questions, I don't know if you want to ask me this.
Well, no, should black businesses retain attorneys, and why? I mean, and I think that's, you would think that should be
a no-brainer.
Reason why, but that goes back to what I said. A black attorney could have all of the answers and understands and fill out the paperwork and stamp it and get it notarized and it gets there and all of that. But we still don't trust our own people. That's the problem.
But so you're answering the question of why we don't. The question is, why should we? That I read it, and I want to look at it that way.
Tell us why.
We cannot undo the conditioning and brainwashing that we have received generation over generation. All we can do is educate and inform, which is why I love this organization restoring and growing black businesses, because the more people hear, you remember what you hear and what is said to you. And one thing Judge Pincham used to tell us all the time, if you see it, you can be it. If they don't see us,
that's right,
they can't envision. So many of us are out in the community. The Cook County Bar has a Lawyers in the Community group where we've always had projects and programs where we will do free legal clinics. That I had started a program on Dr. King's Day of Service where you call a lawyer, and we had lawyers in, and people could come in and see us. And if you're, if it's something that can be resolved that day, we'll try to resolve it. We've done clinics at under past President Dolores Robinson's year. We did one of the largest legal clinics at Apostolic Church, hundreds and hundreds of people. It was amazing. So we have to make ourselves available, and I'm telling you that we are. Maybe
Good.
we need to advertise more or get it out, but certainly during COVID, we haven't been able to do in person, but we've had events online. So I can't say enough. The Cook County Bar, the Black Bar, is a resource for information. Your aldermen a lot of aldermen are lawyers. They know lawyers. Your legislators, they're lawyers. They know lawyers. And so we have to make our own referral system, because I did want to say one thing about it. These firms and whatnot, God bless them, they have the resources to do it. I can't advertise on TV. I can't afford that. I get most of my clients by referral and word of mouth.
And you're doing well too, attorney.
Well,
Just by, right?
when you do good, if you do good work, people will come back to you.
Right.
Every client is not for me. Sometimes I'm slow, and people are like, oh, I need this done right away, and I can't do it because I try to have work-life balance. But I used to work all the time. I don't even know how I did what I was doing.
Well, I'm proud of you. 33 years in this industry. Do you feel that and I know you just said something about the Cook County Bar
Yes, sir.
Association, and that they are doing some things, because I know many of the aldermen and different other political individuals have law background. Even like many of the senators,
Some of them,
millionaires. They either millionaires or lawyers.
well,
But and as far as our community is concerned, where can people go that whatever the situation is, they could go? It should be the Black Bar Association and etc. They'll go down to Kent College, and the white guys help them out. But can we really get more support from the Black Bar Association to be more connected to the Black community?
I think that it is a mutual coming together. I've talked with some of the young lawyers. Some I know that they are there. They're doing the work in the community. People are taking the police brutality, police misconduct cases, because it's a lot of money in that area of practice.
Hold your thought. Hold your thought. I want to bring.
Our time is almost.
No, I know time flying, and we want to bring Denise and Doris in right now, and we'll end with all these radicals. I was really calm and collective, but these are the radicals of the organization right here, Doris and Denise. I'm the nice one. I'm the one that you see my questions and my fire. I get it from Doris and Denise, because they don't take any prisoners. But as we close out, and we have a good 7 minutes or so, I am so thankful, and you just so amazing, and we love you because you are the real deal, and not because you came on the show, but because of your background, your record, and your love for the industry that you're in. And you've had nothing but some of the most incredible human beings to tutor you, to mentor you, and to guide you, along with, I'm sure, your family and etc. and your ability to do what you're doing primarily. But anyway, as we close out, we love to bring Denise and Doris, who are the founders of this amazing movement, not organization, but movement,
Yes.
RGBC, repairing, restoring, and growing Black businesses. That's so important to us, and nothing else matters but how we can support each other.
Right.
That's the real objective. So, Denise and Doris, y'all go for it. I mean, I'm
You know,
sure I read some of the things that
I I met her when I was with the Chicago Board of Education. She represented me years
really,
ago. Yes, that's how we met, and I just fell
okay.
in love with her because she was so. I mean, understood me. She understood what I'm going through. She understood my passion, my anger, and all the stuff that I was dealing with people. And I just fell in love with her. I mean, she did a fantastic job. She's a great lawyer. She's a great human being, and she's very sensitive to what is going on in the Black community. And you know, I would not hook up with anybody if they were not sensitive or concerned about the Black community. And I'm very proud of her. She's, as she said, she's been doing this a long time, and I'm just so happy for her. And she's she has a pulse on everything, and she's also passing that on to other Black lawyers. And I want to see, Arlene, I really want to see the Cook County Bar be the bar that it used to be in the past. They're afraid of anything. These brothers would take on any and everything. And a lot of times, you know, they didn't know. And it's unfortunate, but with the situation that we're in, sometimes is required, and I'm sure it's happening, of Black lawyers to defend our people when they don't have. But it's also the community's responsibility and understanding that when you go to a Black lawyer, you think about the Black lawyer in the same way you think about the white lawyer when you go there. You have some money because
Absolutely.
we don't go to white lawyers not thinking that we have to pay them. And that's that it kind of disturbs me when I hear people in the Black community not considerate and thoughtful of that because you have families too. You have bills. You have mortgages. You have to pay your light and telephone bills. And so it kind of bothers me when we go to the Black lawyer and the Black lawyer can't give us a break. We come back and we badmouth them and all that kind of stuff. But when we go to these white lawyers, we go with money. And so
Hey, and Doris,
and
Doris, we treat the Black lawyers, well, the white lawyers treat you like in the emergency room, Attorney Coleman. Because when you go, no matter how much in pain you are, and you talking all that talk, and they want to know what kind of insurance you got. Are you gonna be able to pay this bill? They ain't trying to heal you or do nothing for you until they find out, can you pay them, or somebody gonna pay them to fix your pain, and etc. So, but go
and,
ahead, if you want to
And
do something.
see the
and you know,
other,
Denise, let me just finish this one point. And if we are going to repair, restore, and grow Black communities, that's a two-way. It's on the community, and it's on the business people and the lawyers in the community. We can't do this thinking that one group has to do everything and
That's
the
right.
other sit back. It's a two-way street.
Can I
and
just,
see, and see, that's the point I wanted to make with our organization in the part where we're hiring business consultants to come in and help our businesses. And we're looking at people who have successful businesses. They have a business consultant. They have an attorney. They hire an accountant. And
accountant,
a lot
right?
of our people don't do these things. They just open up a business. And so as you hire these people and these people become a part of your business and a part of your community, then you begin to plant seeds that grow. And these people grow, you grow together. You know, you're supporting each other, but you have to understand when you go into business, you have to have these types of the supports, and they help to make you more successful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well,
Excellent.
Turner, we're gonna let you close this out. We have about a couple of minutes. Say what you want, and then Doris in the show.
Well, first, I'd like to thank you for having me. This has been a very important discussion and exchange. I wanted to say, one thing I wanted to say for people to know, when you have a situation and a lawyer approaches you, there's a phrase for them, ambulance chasers, because that's a business. Finding out where accident and where shooting has occurred and to get a lawyer there. It might be a Black person who approaches you. You don't have to hire the first person that approaches you. You need to look around. It is not urgent that you get a lawyer right away. Even when there's death or tragedy in the family, I don't push for the lawyer right away. And we need to be mindful of that, because again, these are people who may not necessarily care about you, but they see a dollar. They see an opportunity to make money. So let's not be so vulnerable and just, accepting everything that comes to us. That's one thing I see that has to change. And I totally agree with what Denise said in terms of businesses. I do consult small businesses. I have a few. I've always had small businesses that I advise and consult to handle their legal matters as the general counsel. So all lawyers, and the last thing, all lawyers are not rich. We are working people. We're working class people. We're, some cases pay a lot of money, but some things are don't. So,
on the screen right there, attorney, that dollar sign, I'm not just saying this, but it's right there.
I see that dollar sign. So we just, you can't ask lawyers to work for you for free. This is our job. And our time is Abraham Lincoln said, a lawyer's time is his stock and trade. So, I give away a lot of time. I'm not a rich woman, but I am blessed for everything I have. To God be the glory, to that he's kept me and brought me this far in my life and in my business. And I thank you.
Well, thank you so much. And
absolutely.
Thank you, Arlene, for coming on.
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome. And I'm going to refer some other lawyers that are looking for business to you guys that need
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Check our website. We have a lawyer referral list at the Cook County Bar. God bless you.
Okay. Thank you, Arlene. Good to see
Thank
you.
Ms. Doris. I'll talk
good
to
night,
you.
Bye.
Good night.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Family, thank you for tuning in tonight at another wonderful show with Attorney Arlene Coleman. And again, this is what we're all about. We are about restoring, repairing, and growing Black communities. And to do that, we need your continued support. You can go to our website, rgbc.org. You can donate, or you can go to our store and get some cute little interesting things on our website. So you can donate by going to rgbc.org. We take PayPal, any kind of major credit card. So again, I want to thank you for tuning in tonight, because we are very serious about what we're doing. It is so important. It's extremely important that we turn these dollars around to us, and we can take the dollars away from the Asians, the Arabs, the Indians, and white folks, of course, because we want this money to come back to the Black community. And when you grow Black businesses, the Black businesses hire 75 to 80% of people in our communities. The people that we have in our communities today, the Arabs, the Koreans, the Indians, the Asians, they don't hire young people from the community. And so when you go to get your nails done or your feet done, you need to ask these people, do you hire Black people? And they cannot say yes, because everybody in there is not Black. So we want to turn this around, because we have nail shops. We have Black people in every business that you want to go into. May not be in abundance, but we do have it. So again, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful evening.